Hi, I'm Phil Jones and welcome back to part 2 of my adventures in Scotland. We finished part 1 with me at the top of Bealach, just enjoying myself in the sunshine and taking photos of me, my bike and the beautiful landscape which surrounded me. The sharp-eyed ones amongst you may have noticed my GoPro footage stopped just when I was nearly at the top of the pass, with the hairpin turns left to negotiate. Unfortunately, my battery died just at the last minute. I wouldn't want you to miss out on seeing this awesome road, so here's a little bit of footage of me riding back down. I was in no hurry to ride at speed down the pass, as I wanted to admire the view. I even stopped a couple of times so I could just take a look at the scenery and take a few more shots. That evening I was staying at Glenelg, which was about a 90-minute ride from the pass. My route back took me along the old military road. I don't know why, but I really wasn't expecting to see such stunning scenery. It doesn't matter where you go in that part of Scotland, it's all absolutely incredible. I arrived at my next Airbnb accommodation just as the sun was beginning to drop, and after meeting my host for the evening and being greeted with a cup of tea and a Kit Kat, I was able to get out of my motorcycle gear, back into civvies and go for a stroll along the stony beach. Although I didn't get to see it for myself, there is a turntable ferry just a short ride away which takes you across the water to the Isle of Skye. And in fact, this is the closest you'll get from mainland Scotland to Skye. But I was able to chat to a few friendly locals who were admiring the view. I later took this shot of the clouds rolling across the tops of the hills and the Isle of Skye opposite. I had a nice relaxed start the following morning and enjoyed cleaning my bike in the sunshine while taking in the views. I took a muck-off travel kit with me, as I hate nothing more than riding a dirty bike. The plan that day was to ride from Glenelg to Applecross, then on to Ullapop, but as you will shortly see, things didn't quite go as planned. The first part of my journey was just as amazing as it was the day before. I was taking my time, letting the sunshine dry off the roads and feeling grateful for the awesome weather I was being blessed with. I had my GoPro set up on my chesty harness and decided to capture a little bit of footage as I rode back along the old military road. I mentioned in part 1 how amazing it was riding on the A896, and I was really looking forward to going back again. You can see for yourself how the roads consist of long, fast sweeping turns, and although the surface is a little rough, it doesn't stop you having an awesome ride. When I arrived once again at Bealach, I had made my mind up to stop at the bottom of the pass and take a few images of my Suzuki GSX-S 750 with the mountain range in the background. This is where it all started to go horribly wrong. I parked and positioned my bike safely, then with my camera and GoPro in hand started taking a few shots of my bike. After taking a few handheld shots, I set my Canon 5D camera on my Manfrotto B3 Live travel tripod and started looking for the best angle. I was still in no rush, but excited to be there, enjoying every minute, crouching down and moving around to find the best possible angle to get the shot. I decided I needed a little bit more distance from the bike, so I stepped down to the next level, and to my complete surprise and horror, the next thing I knew, I was face down in a bog, still holding my camera, which was now completely submerged in the mud and water. My motorcycle boots, leather jeans, jacket and base layers were soaked through and covered in mud. My Canon 5D Mark IV and 24-105mm lens was dripping wet, and now I was panicking. I lost all the images from my SanDisk memory card. Here's a few video clips I shot immediately after this happened. So, just taking these shots of the bike and decided to jump down onto the dry land down there. Except, as you can see where I landed, it wasn't dry. I am soaked. Can't rinse this out while filming. Absolutely drenched. With 5D Mark IV, so I'm hoping everything's going to be alright on there. All the pictures are on there. We can get those out now actually. Okay, so I'm at this amazing location, taking some pictures of the bike, Bealach in a bar, the cattle pass. So I'm doing a little bit of GoPro work, showing some Manfrotto stuff. Got the old Canon there. So finding the angles, unbelievable, no one around, you know, get the occasional car passing by. So I decided to jump down, or climb down, here onto the grass below. Except that isn't solid. Not being much of a traveller, I didn't really realise in all my excitement. That area there, you can make out the shape of my body as I've gone face down into the bog. So left leg, right leg, face, arm, camera into the bog. There's my boots, camera is drenched. I've taken the card out. My top, you can see where my arm's gone. Don't know if you can see that. Where my arm's gone into the water, dry there. I've gone that far down. That's dripping wet. My other top is dripping wet. My boots, guess what? Yeah, so I've had a proper dunking. Quite happy. I'm a bit annoyed because I'm not quite sure what's happening with the camera at the moment, and I hope my card's going to be okay. But as you can see, for my arms have gone that far into the water, pushing myself up. I literally thought I was stuck in there for a moment. Boot is wet. Fortunately, bike's nice and dry. As I mentioned in my phone footage, I was not only absolutely drenched, but covered in mud too, and my camera was soaked. As I had all my clothes with me in my Oxford bag, I decided to get out of my wet things, lay them on the nearby rocks to dry, and do my best to laugh about the experience, which, as you can imagine, wasn't easy. I had no choice but to wait for my protective clothing to dry off. My Nox base layers would dry in no time, but my motorcycle boots were still soaking wet, and as I still had a long journey ahead of me to get to my next accommodation, I made the decision it would be safer for me to ride in my trainers, which I never like to do. So people think that I'm camping. It's not the video I thought I'd be making. for Hideout Leather. But that's the adventures of Phil Jones. Couldn't have picked a nicer day to fall in a bog in Scotland at the place that I've always wanted to go to. What I didn't realise then was I was only minutes away from having another dramatic event in the Scottish Highlands, being the closest I had ever been to having a motorcycle accident. Cleaned these boots this morning, they were immaculate.